Hey guys, welcome to the studio. Here we are on day 3 of the 31-day spiritual challenge. You know, I'm super excited to share with you something from Proverbs chapter 3. The 31-day spiritual challenge is to find success by reading a proverb a day. We looked at that on day 1. If you haven't watched that video, go back and watch that. That's number 1 introduction to our blog. And you know, every day, as much as I've read these things, over the years, every day, it just gets better. Today, we are going to look at the most important question in life. The most important thing that we can look at and answer. And it's found right here in Proverbs 31. But the first thing I want to challenge you with is, what is the greatest enemy to your happiness? What is the greatest enemy to your happiness? You know what that is? It's found right here. I'm reading in Proverbs chapter 3, and I'm only going to comment on 2 verses. I'm going to leave you 31 verses for you to read on your own, but I'm going to comment on 2. It's Proverbs 3, verses 5 and 6. Spans over 2 pages here. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all of your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight." We're going to look at these 2 verses real quickly here. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. Do you know what the greatest hindrance is to your own happiness? It's you. Did you see what the word said? It said, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. What is keeping you from trusting the Lord? It is this. It is this little cerebral cortex, this brain of yours, because trusting in the Lord versus trusting in yourself is very counterintuitive. Because here's the way it is, guys. Life is complicated. It's not easy. We need to admit that we cannot figure out this thing called life. Success is realizing that we can't do this by ourselves. We can't figure it out. We're going to say, hey, God, I'm asking you. I'm not trusting in myself. I'm trusting in you. I'm asking you to come on over here and help me out with this. Lean not on your own understanding. That word lean, I want to talk about that word lean for just a minute. What does it mean to lean? You know, I spent a lot of my life on the end of a ladder. I've done a lot of roofing, a lot of siding, a lot of building, up really high in some scary and some dangerous places. And the most important element of leaning is learning to rest, learning to trust. Now, if you're afraid of heights, you've got up there, you've looked out at high places and you're like, what am I doing up here? This is really scary. You start looking at the ground, you start looking at things around you. But when you learn to lean, you learn to rest, you learn to trust, well, now you can focus. You can focus on your job. You can focus on, framing this dormer or fixing this chimney or whatever the case may be, because you're not worried about falling. You're leaning, you're resting. Now, in my life, I had the great opportunity in my college days to sit under the teaching of a great man named Dr. George Sweeting. One of the cool things Dr. Sweeting would always say is this: be careful that you're not leaning the ladder of your life on the wrong wall. Wow, that is a very cool analogy. Leaning the ladder of your life on the wrong wall. Think about it. You put your ladder on the ground, you lean it against the wall, you climb up there, and that wall is holding your weight, and you feel safe and you feel secure. But what if you're leaning the ladder of your life on the wrong wall? And that brings us to the most important question, which this addresses, is who or what are you trusting in? Isn't that great? Who or what are you trusting in? Lean not on your own understanding, but in all of your ways acknowledge him. Acknowledge who? The God of the universe. That's who we're trusting in. I'm not trusting in myself and my ability to figure this out. No, I'm trusting in God. He's the one who knows what's coming. He's the one who knows all things whatsoever shall come to pass. And what does it say? That he will make your paths straight. He will make your paths straight. It's the same word, well, a little different word, but it's the same concept of prosperity. He will make your path smooth. He will make a smooth path for your feet. And what are we talking about here? You know, as I get older, I get the gray stuff kicking in. I think about my life and I go back and I analyze. And one of the greatest challenges in life is to live and not regret. To live and not regret. You know, one of the things as I work on my computer is this wonderful thing called Command Z. Command Z, that's right. It's called undo. Undo, I love it. Because we can go back, we do something wrong, all of a sudden the document disappears. And what can we do? We hit Command Z. There we go. We're right back where we started. But you know what? We can't do Command Z in life. I'm talking to my millennial friends out here. You know, you're young. You got your life before you. You can't go back and undo poor decisions. You can't go back and redo disaster that comes upon your life because you trusted in yourself and not in the Lord. So the question is, what are you trusting in? Folks, this is life-changing stuff here. What are you leaning the ladder of your life on? On yourself, on your friends, on the latest YouTube video, on the latest marketing? Or are you leaning it on the Lord, the God of heaven, the one who made you, the one who created you? Now, in closing, I want to share with you an illustration. As much as I've spent a ton of time working up high and on ladders and all that kind of stuff, you know, I've been sort of out of it for a few years. And so I had a unique experience just recently. I have a sailboat. It has a mast that is 50 feet tall. It's one pole that goes straight up. And you know what? You can't lean a ladder and climb up the mast. What you need to do is get this thing called a rope ladder. A rope ladder. And hook it into the clew, the mast, and pull it up on the halyard and get it all the way to the top, and then climb up that rope last. And it's shaky, and you're shaking, and you're up high, and the boat is moving. And you know what? It's a whole new level of trust. I was very scared, and I had to say, wait a second here. Whoa. I've done this before. I've climbed many ladders. I had to put a psych on my mind. I had to say, I can do this, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this rope and wrap this rope around me, around the mast. I'm going to take my hands off, and I'm going to trust. I'm going to lean all my weight on this rope so that I can put this new equipment on top of my mast. I was putting a radar up on the mast and putting a wind meter up on the mast. And so I had to totally get psyched all over again at a new level. And you know, we learn these things at a certain level, but it comes at times in our life where we need to learn things at a deeper level. And today, 2018, as we think about this coming year, lean not on your own understanding. In all of your ways, acknowledge Him. That little word, all. Man, that's huge. In all of our ways, in our finances, in our happiness, in our marriage, in our vocation, in our jobs, in all of our ways, we acknowledge Him. We come to the God of the universe and say, God, I'm leaning in you. I'm resting in you. I'm trusting you. I can't figure this out. I'm asking you to help me figure this out. I'm coming to you. And what does it say? He will make your paths smooth. Isn't that great? So listen, there's 31 verses left in here. I want to leave you with a challenge. Read the rest of these 31 verses, and it is like a field of diamonds. They're out there, 31 of them. We picked up one or two of them today. I want you to go out there and pick up one or two of them yourself. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you found that was a diamond, that was life-changing stuff. All right, thanks for joining us on the 31-day challenge. Thanks for joining us on this vlog. God bless you and have a great day.
We are your hands, we are your feet. Where you go, we will follow. Our hearts are set on your glory.